This is for the players. For those that leap into battle in the blink of an eye. For the drivers that compete for their club, no matter where they are. For everyone who has triumphs, tips and tricks to share.
And for those who love to play with complete freedom, this is for the game changers, the innovators. This is for the players. This is PS4.
Australia's leading sports organisations have made a pledge to tackle youth binge drinking.
Now when you're watching your favourite sports, like football,
swimming, basketball,
netball
and athletics,
you'll see this logo.
it's all about coming together to have a positive influence on our drinking culture.
We're strong enough to say enough.
and you can be too.
Back your judgment.
Stand up for what you believe in.
Be the influence.
Here's your story, let's begin. The water's fine, come on, dive in. The future's here, it's right before your eyes. Step by step, you're on your way. Welcome to a brighter day. Don't you know it feels good to be alive? You could be larger than life, bigger than the world, living out the hopes and dreams of every boy and every girl. You could fly higher than the sky, shine brighter than the stars. You could have all you ever wanted, shoot the moon and reach for Mars. You know you could.
Hello and welcome to Bar TV's live coverage of Round 10 from Darling Street Oval of Northern New South Wales National Premier League. It's great to have your company today. On the final round before the break for the FFA Cup action next weekend, we will be treated to the biggest derby in the competition. It doesn't get any better. Hamilton Olympic versus Broadmeadow Magic. After a wonderful start to the year in which the opening 7 rounds yielded 17 points for the visitors today, Broadmeadow, the last 2 have received none. A 4-3 loss to Western at home, followed by a 1-0 defeat to an understrength Charlestown side last weekend, has left Broadmeadow on a slippery slide down the ladder. Today, they'll look to arrest this poor run of form, and there's no better time to do that than against their bitter rivals. Hamilton, on the other hand, has begun the first half of 2015 superbly. Undefeated in all 9 matches played so far, but a 0-0 opening round draw to Broadmeadow has left them with some unfinished business in 2015. A loss to their rivals would leave a bad taste in the mouth for the home side heading into next weekend's break, so a great opportunity to go to the weekend off then with a win over Broadmeadow. So get ready for a cracker. If past results are anything to go by, this will live up to all expectations. This is Hamilton Olympic versus Broadmeadow, live on the home of grassroots sport, Bar TV. And I'm just about to go through the team sheets before we get underway here at Darling Street. The first game from Darling Street this year on Bar TV. We'll just pause for a minute's silence.
You'll be upstanding just before the match commences. Thank you for observing a minute's silence, ladies and gentlemen, for the recent passing of a long-time supporter, Steve Caravagnales, who passed away just recently. Father of the Caravagnales brothers who played for the club for many years, and father-in-law of Angelo and Ange Palozzi. On behalf of all the Hamilton Olympic and all the wider community, we'd like to observe a minute's silence in memory of Steve. Thank you. Thank you for that, ladies and gentlemen. Much appreciated.
So the team lists for this one. For Hamilton, number 1, and in goals, Danny Ireland. Number 3, Tom Davies. Number 4, Kyle Hodges. Number 6, Kane Goodchild. Number 7, Simon Mooney. Number 8, Jacob Bailey. Number 9, Andrew Swan. Number 10, Reese Cooper. Number 12, Matt Swan. Number 13, Mason Campbell. And number 19, Jason Karotic. On the bench, it's 14, Ben Coyner, 15, Cody Lucas, 17, Pat Brown, 20, Matt Harper, and 21, Josh Cox. For Broadmeadow, in goals is Nathan Archbold, number 2, Jaden Barber, number 3, Josh Piddington, number 4, Ben Higgins, number 5, Luke Virgili, number 6, Dan Casaroli, number 7, Scott Pettit, Dino Fajkovic, number 19, Cale Bradbury, number 20, Michael Finlayson, and on the bench, number 8, Matt Houle, number 10, Chris Berlin, number 11, Reese Tippett, number 21, Ko Sangin, and number 66, Brad McKenzie. Joining me in commentary, as always, after his week off last week, Blake Jarrett. Blake, what's your tip for this big derby? First one on Bar TV for season 2015.
Yeah, it's going to be a cracker of a game, I reckon, but I'm going to go 3-3. It'll be really competitive. Obviously, Hamilton are up the top there, and Magic had dropped out of the top 4 yesterday with the Jaffers win. So I reckon it's going to be end-to-end, and yeah, I reckon a high-scoring game, but 3-3 is my tip, or a draw at least.
Well, we've seen a lot of changes for Broadmeadow in this one today. Looking at their last match against Western, Jaden Barber into the side, Luke Virgili as well, John Griffiths, just to name 3 of the changes, Matt Houle to the bench and Ko Sangin as well. So what do you think the changes have been made by Rob Virgili, the Magic coach, Blake?
I'm not too sure, actually. Luke Virgili's obviously just come back from injury. So that gives him something back there as well.
Well, there's Kane Goodchild holding it up. Swan are now out towards Scott Pettit. Pettit down the left-hand side, but he Now knocks it back with Barber. Now away to Swan again. It's Andrew Swan on the ball, but he's turned it over. Scott Pettit looking down the middle of the ground to Bradbury. Now Cale Bradbury with plenty of space. Tom Davies does well. Campbell now, middle of the ground. Josh Piddington controls it nicely. And Hamilton with Tom Davies looking down the line for Simon Mooney. Over the sideline and a throw the way of Hamilton. Great atmosphere down at Darling Street today. Big crowd in, as always, for these matches. Now with Swan. Backstick hits the volley. Oh, Andrew Swan very close early on. Just came off the side to the left. And an early chance for Hamilton to take the lead in spectacular fashion from Andrew Swan there. It's going to be Nathan Archbold with the goal kick, and we've almost gone 2 minutes here. Hamilton 0, Broadmeadow 0 live on Bar TV in the round 10 match of the round. The middle of the ground. Bradbury now on the ball for Broadmeadow. Fajkovic back to Bradbury. It's been turned over. Now with Cooper. Looking for Kane Goodchild. He's had a wonderful season so far, Kane Goodchild. All across the ground and headed back towards Bradbury. 6 goals for Kane Goodchild for Hamilton this season. Piddington. Bit of a battle with Griffiths and Cooper as well. Now with Cale Bradbury. Down the left-hand side, tries to put it in, but Danny Ireland does well down low. Sorry, Kane Goodchild with 7 goals this season for Hamilton. Goes all the way back to Archbold. They've been wonderful this year. Hamilton, Blake. What do you think's been the cornerstone of their success?
Yeah, they have, haven't they? I think the biggest thing is they've worked on defence this year, and it's really showing. I think they're one of the best defensive sides, if not the best in the comp. And obviously last season they had no problem in attack, but Kane Goodchild, his signing up front has done them a world of good as well. So they look a really complete side this year.
Well, here's Broadmeadow down the left. A lot of people tipping Olympic to get the job done this afternoon. So we'll see what happens. Here's a long shot looking back stick. It's going to go over the byline, and a goal kick in the end to Danny Ireland. The 2 matches before, the 22s and the 19s, it was a 1-1 draw in each of them. Got a bit fiery in the under 22s late. Exciting game it was. Hamilton probably lucky to get the 1-1 draw in the end. Broadmeadow had plenty of great opportunities and just couldn't put them away. Here's a ball over the top for Reece Cooper. Piddington gets back. Good challenger now with Ben Higgins. Played his juniors at Guitarra South. Was down in the tiers of Newcastle football, not in the top 2 tiers. There's a ball looking long down the line. After it is Fajkovic. Fajkovic down the left-hand side. It goes down and over the byline. So Danny Ireland with the goal kick over the top. They're down from Casaroli, Finlayson. Over the sideline. And a throw for Broadmeadow. This season they've played the 4 away games, 2 wins, a draw and a loss. And for Hamilton, they've played 4 matches at home for 3 wins and 1 draw. So a great record at home, Hamilton. The last 5 matches at Darling Street, Hamilton have only won the 2 in the last 5 at Darling Street against Broadmeadow. Although they did win both matches against Broadmeadow last year. Broadmeadow with a poor run of form in 2014. We're going to have a free kick going the way of Hamilton. Just over 5 minutes gone. It's 0-0 here on Bar TV's Match of the Round in round 10 of the NPL.
Yeah, just going back to those changes before you're talking about Ben. Obviously, Peter Haynes is out injured today, so John Griffiths comes back into the midfield to take his spot, and Matt Hill's moved to the bench for Luke Virgili. Obviously, Matt Hill's a midfielder that's gone back to the fullbacks this year in Virgili's absence, but now that he's back, I'm assuming that he'll be a regular starter back there for Broadmeadow.
Well, they looked very disjointed, Blake. As soon as Peter Haynes went off in that match against Western, I believe they were up 2-0 at the time, and as soon as he went off, they seemed to sort of just fall apart in terms of their structure and their cohesion. He brings a lot to Broadmeadow. How much of an impact do you think their recent form's been down to his absence?
Yeah, I think a fair bit. He's had a very good season this year so far. And, I think the thing that they need to do now is find someone or a group of individuals to stand up and take the side under their wing like Haynes does usually every week.
He was in the Newcastle Jets AFC Champions League squad in 2009, Peter Haynes. So, and that was probably due to a season in 2008 where he was the Golden Boot in the competition. Here's a chipping ball in back stick. It's gone over the byline. And
yeah, I don't know if you also remember back in 2013, Magic won 6-5 here against Hamilton in that respective fixture, and Haynes scored a long-range volley to win that one for Broadmeadow.
I did see that scoreline, the 6-5. Would have been an epic contest, that one, toing and froing, and hopefully we get something in terms of a few goals this afternoon. We didn't have any in round 1, 0-0. And funnily enough, Blake, I noticed yesterday that the match that we had in round 1 this year, the Jets Youth and Lambton, finished with the same scoreline at the same ground, 3-2 to Lambton, and that's 3 of their last 4 that the scoreline's been 3-2 to Lambton. So yeah,
and the scoring went the same way as well. It was 1-0 to the Jets, and then Jaffers scored 3, went back to 3-1, and then Reece Pappas scored a goal at the end of the game to make it 3-2, and that's pretty much, the scorers were different, but that's exactly what happened last game.
I love that. I love playing like that, those two sides in 2014, so interesting battle again. The Jets sort of slipping down the ladder of late.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see Lambton up there in third spot. We've talked about how much of a slow season how they started off, but then they've really shot into their own in this middle part of the competition, and so have Adamstown, haven't they? They're only 3 points from the top 4 now after that win yesterday against Western away from home.
It's funny because it seems ever since Guy Bates has gone, they've shot up the ladder, Adamstown, but both Lambton and Adamstown, you expected once they clicked, they would start winning some games. I cannot pick. You see Hamilton and Broadmeadow right up the top with Western and Edgeworth, but I really can't split those top 6 sides with including Lambton and Adamstown for those top 4 spots. It's going to be a real battle over the next half of the competition, and some of those matches where they play each other, they're going to be so important to decide who is in that top 4, Blake.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. It's a very good point. It's a very close top 6, and I think we shouldn't count the Jets out of it as well, because we know what they can do. They always do well in the second half of the season, so they could really come back with a bang. Obviously, they can't make the finals, but can make the top 4.
There is a gap starting to appear back South Cardiff, Charlestown and Maitland as well. Here's a challenge. The whistle goes in favour of Hamilton. We've got a free kick. They're going to play it on quickly, are they? We've got a time to have a bit of a chat. Yeah, that gap's starting to appear. Charlestown, South Cardiff, Maitland. So it'll be interesting to see probably those 3 battle it out to see if they can get out into the mid-table and out of that relegation zone. So, but at the moment, none of those sides will be relegated because Wallsend are up the top of the new FM division. As here comes the free kick from Mooney, goes along the ground and it's in the back of the net. Well, it's beaten Archbold at the near stick. I don't know how it's happened, and Hamilton go up 1-0 after 10.5 minutes. Well, that came as a real shock, Blake.
Yeah, I think he's just lost sight of it there. Might have even taken a little deflection, and Yeah, as you said, it just crept into the bottom right-hand corner, didn't it? A strange goal, but it was Hamilton's 101st goal against Magic in the history of the State League.
Well, there you go. Here's Fajkovic down the left. They're trying to try and reply quickly. It's back stick. Swan puts it over the line, and here come Broadmeadow. They're going to try and fight back and get that goal back as quickly as possible. But, yeah, I thought it was going wide of the goals, and Nathan Archbold thought that as well. And in the end, it trickled near post, and the look on his face was one of utter despair as it comes back to Finlayson, who hits a volley. We know he can hit some wonderful shots, Michael Finlayson. Last year he hit a cracker against the Jaffers in the final series. Here goes Mooney down the right-hand side. And a throw goes to Hamilton. We've got an injury over there. This doesn't look good. We had a shocking injury, I was told, in the 22s match. One of the Hamilton Olympic players dislocated his knee, so they had to stop play for 40 minutes before the ambulance got here.
Yeah, I was just down there having a chat to him. Luke Rutledge it was. Obviously, we saw him last season on Bar TV in the under-22s grand final. He just went in for a challenge, he said, and dislocated his knee and in a bit of pain. But now he's feeling all good down there, hobbling around on the crutches. And he said they expect him to miss a maximum of 2 weeks. So that's good signs for him.
Yeah, that's all right. That's good news considering what happened. We do have a Magic player down over there. It's now with Campbell. Still hamstring, yeah. Lying down just in shot as it goes down towards the line, and Broadmeadow win the throw. Are we going to see a substitution made? No one's getting up off the Broadmeadow Magic bench. The ball comes back and away. Here's Magic. They've got a 2-on-1 at the back. Here's Fajkovic. Can he play it to Bradbury? Great challenge from the captain, Kyle Hodges. Big challenge from Hodges there. Back for Higgins, the other number 4, doing some hard work at the back. Swan back to his brother. Andrew Swan and Matt Swan out there. It's with Andrew at the minute. Back for Campbell. Down the middle of the park for Piddington. Coming at him. Oh, big contact between Jacob Bailey and Josh Piddington. And he's earned himself a yellow card. So another free kick. Simon Mooney. He looks long. We're going to have to have this one retaken. Referee not happy with something. Just over 14 gone. It's Hamilton with a 1-0 lead through a goal from Simon Mooney from the free kick in the 10th minute. So we are going to see a substitution, I believe. Here's a little bit of a bicycle from Cooper, plays it back to Swan. It's Matt Swan going near stick, and Archbold sprung into action, knocking it over the byline.
Yeah, he's been substituted over there. Matt Hoole's just come on.
So Matt Hoole's come on. We're trying to get a number plate of who is down. Do you know who's down over there, Blake? Who has been subbed off?
I think it's Jaden Barber.
Jaden Barber. Here's the ball in. Magic have done well to clear it away. Scott Pettit does very well. So,
it is. It's number 2, Jaden Barber.
Jaden Barber, who's, I believe, come into the side he didn't play against Western. So, I'll get that confirmed. Here's Pettit now, down the right-hand side to Matt Hoole, who's just come onto the ground, as we said, for Jaden Barber. Hoole putting it in. They do well at the back there to Broadmeadow. Jaden Barber with 8 matches. 8 matches for Broadmeadow. Here's another card coming out. Is it to John Griffiths? Referee with the card up towards his vicinity, so I'm going to put that down. So Jaden Barber, just the 8 matches for Broadmeadow. 2014 Under-17s Player of the Year. And, he bypassed under-19s and under-22s to come straight into the first grade squad. So how about that from a performance from Jaden Barber? And it doesn't look a good side. He's gone down on the other side of the ground. Here's Hamilton putting one in through on the far side of the ground. Yeah, well, I'm not sure what we thought it was a hamstring originally, but he's coming to the sideline on this near side. But we'll go over to the corner. It's going to be Swan to whip it in with the left foot. Goes back post. It's a good ball in. Mooney went up, didn't get a touch to it, and it's going to be a goal kick for Archbold. So Archbold with the goal kick. So Jaden Barber just coming down on the stretcher in front of us now. Not a good sight. Matt Hoole goes down on Mooney, and here he comes right in front of screen there. Awful sight. He's only 18 years of age, Jaden Barber, so not great news for him at all. There's Swan putting it over the sideline, so Magic with a chance to attack. It's going to be Scott Pettit with the corner kick. A lot of ones on the scoreboard you can see in picture. Here's Pettit going back stick. It's a header from Higgins. It goes up. I shouldn't say. Yeah, it was Higgins. Sorry, it was Luke Vigili with the header, and Danny Ireland takes it nicely in front of his goals. What have you made of the opening? We'll just say Goodchild on a little bit of a run, but what have you made of the opening 18 minutes or so in this one, Blake?
Yeah, it's been exactly like I predicted. It's been end-to-end. Obviously, we've seen that goal in the 11th minute, and then a pretty crucial tackle by Kyle Hodges to break down a 2-on-1 in the 2 minutes later. So we've had an injury, a couple of yellow cards, and a goal. So it's been a good opening 18 minutes to this derby.
A reminder, if you're watching, got any questions, or you want me to ask any questions of the coaches in the post-match interviews, just post them below on the stream, and we'll get to them. Or if you got any questions in relation to the game, any comments, just put them down below. As here's Higgins on the ball for Broadmeadow, down the line for Pettit. Pettit goes down, taken down by Andrew Swan. But referee just says, no, it's a throw, that's all good. And Andrew Swan gives him a pat on the back and throw for him.
Yeah, probably worth mentioning as well, that was Simon Mooney's 6th goal of the season and Hamilton's 22nd in 10 games. So he's now got 6 goals in 10 games, and Goodchild has 7 in 10 games, sorry.
Yeah, those two this season are having a wonderful year, as it's away for Vigili, Fajkovic, Piddington, and now for Hughes. And Jamie Burns left Hamilton to go to Lambton as well, so they had a formidable strike force, and Jamie Burns has been playing some good football at Lambton lately. Of course, came from South Cardiff last year, Jamie Burns. Hoole, Swan with a lot of pressure, putting in a lot of pressure in this opening part of the game. Vigili, of course, the older brother of James Vigili. Jets player is his. Pettit down the left. He puts it back stick, too much on it, over Casaroli's head. And it's a goal kick for Danny Ireland again for Hamilton. Played his junior football at South Wallsend, did Luke Vigili. Mason Campbell on the ball now. It's probably worth mentioning as well that last season when Kane Goodchild scored for Charlestown, they didn't lose a game. Here's Andrew Swan going in again. Andrew Swan is getting a lot of sliding challenges in. Broadmeadow bench not happy at all. Casaroli back for Vigili, cutting it back. Headed away by Davies. Now for Piddington. Bit of frustration over Andrew Swan down there on the bench, Blake. One of the Magic officials not happy with having a heated discussion with the fourth official. Here's Finlayson. Swan again with the foot in. Kane Goodchild. They're going to play advantage the referee, this time with Matt Swan. No lack of physicality this afternoon at Darling Street. Here's a ball in, up goes Archbold. Takes it nicely and rolls it out here to Ben Higgins. Down the line for Hoole. Hoole inside to Pettit. Scott Pettit and Andrew Swan seem like they're going to be having a little bit of a battle this afternoon. Here they go down to the corner. Swan goes down. And it is going to be a goal kick for Danny Ireland. Playing in the Jaffers Premiership, winning side last year, won the major premiership. After the Jets youth won the minor premiership last year. So Ireland just about to stand over it. Yeah, Kane Goodchild, they didn't lose a game last year, Charlestown, when he scored, and this year, of course, Appleton undefeated when he scored as well. Yet to lose a game this year. There goes Ireland. Higgins up high with the head. Swan, bit of a ping-pong battle at the moment. Goodchild, Karotic. Now it's with Swan. Matt Swan on the ball. Across the ground. Back to Jacob Bailey, and now down goes Kane Goodchild. He's a free kick in a promising position for Hamilton now. And you'd sense it's going to be Simon Mooney who will take this one. Simon Mooney, I'd say, Blake, would he be Hamilton Olympics? Hamilton Olympics, Nathan Morris.
Yeah, you'd want to hope so, wouldn't he? He could probably get one in from here if he was.
We'll see what he can do. Nathan Morris again last week had some cracking free kicks from about this position. There's Mooney dipping. It doesn't dip enough. And Archbold, well, he'll be happy that didn't dip as much as it was. It came down a fair way, but not enough, a bit too much height in the end from it, and goes over the bar, and a goal kick for Archbold. There goes Archbold in his 12th game for Broadmeadow this afternoon. Down for Bailey. Little flick on from Goodchild to Mooney. Mooney down the right-hand side for Hamilton. Still with Mooney. Plays it back into the middle. Getting back is Matt Hoole. Plays it away. Matt Hoole playing for the Australian futsal team this year. Scored in their loss to Uruguay, it was, in their first match. They didn't make it through the group stage, the Australian futsal team. Finished 4th in their pool. Didn't get a win or a draw out of that one. It was a tough pool. Jacob Bailey. Back Campbell over the top looking for Goodchild. Piddington all over him at the moment. And he knocks it up the middle of the ground. Kyle Hodges with that tackle early on, saving the day for Hamilton when Dino Fajkovic and Carl Bradbury had a 2-on-1. There's Hoole trying to clear it away as a handball, so they will escape there. A little bit of worry for the Broadmeadow fans. Mainly down our end, filled with the Broadmeadow spectators. Down our end of the grandstand. Casaroli, Fajkovic, back to Casaroli, and Fajkovic again on the ball. Playing it back to Higgins. Higgins now to Finlayson. Finlayson rounds Kyle Hodges, but he gets a grab. That's got to be a yellow card, and here's the yellow card. Finlayson not happy at all. And Hodges goes into the referee's books. Not the first player today to do that. Josh Piddington and John Griffiths for Broadmeadow also in the referee's book. And it's going to be Scott Pettit from a similar position to where Simon Mooney had his free kick from a few minutes ago. So we'll see what he can do here. It's a good view from this angle. Here's Pettit, he chips it over the top. Danny Ireland fumbles, but grabs it on the second attempt, and we will see. He goes across to Goodchild. Now, one thing we should mention, Blake, the scores from the other grounds yesterday. Adamstown got a 2-1 win over Western. The ball runs down to Archbold. And that other match we spoke about before, a 3-2 win for the Jaffas over the Jets Youth.
Yeah, a good result for the Jaffas, wasn't it? As I said before, it puts them up into third, leapfrogging, was it Western on goal difference, and Magic, who are on 1 point less than them now. So, a very good result for them. And Magic, that will give them some extra motivation today, won't it, to get back into the top four. I don't know what the goal difference is like. I think it's better than Western, so I think they'll only need a draw to get back into the top four. But obviously a win would do wonders and take them up to third, possibly second if Edgeworth lose. Let's just have a quick look at the table. Yeah, if Edgeworth lose and Magic win this one, they'll go up into second, 1 point behind Hamilton.
Yeah, Edgeworth and Charlestown this afternoon, and I'm just going through those first round matches, and the other one is South Cardiff taking on Hamilton. Of course, that round one battle. Here's Cooper, he goes down. Is it a penalty? Or is it I think it's outside of the box. It's going to be a free kick, I think, just on the edge of the box. Andrew Swan just checking whereabouts it is. It's going to be right on the edge, near the byline. Yeah, South Cardiff down 2-0 at home against Maitland in round one. There's a shocking free kick from Swan. Magic fans like that. And it's just going to be a goal kick for Archbold. Yeah, 2-0 they were down, South Cardiff in round one. Came back and drew 2-2 at home. So that one's up at Maitland. And the other game, Edgeworth crushed Charlestown. A couple of red cards in that game, and 4-0 it was in the end. Opening round on a Friday night at Edgeworth. There goes Matt Houle across the ground. Mason Campbell with a little bit of a touch on it. Fajkovic looking for Bradbury. Cale Bradbury with a shot. He couldn't get it around, and he's won his side of corner, Cale Bradbury. Yeah, Blake, that South Cardiff Maitland game, that is a huge match in the context of down the bottom of the ladder.
Yeah, isn't it ever? Both of those sides would be chasing a win today. As we go back to the action, comes off number 12. Which Swan is number 12?
Matt Swan. Yeah, off Matt Swan's head.
And obviously Charlestown would want them to have a draw as well, which would really benefit them. So
yeah, draws aren't great for getting out of that zone. So both those sides are going to be aiming for the win. Here's Pettit going near stick. Danny Ireland tapping it over again. So Hamilton players aren't impressed with the treatment that Danny Ireland's been getting. Tallest man in the box, the Olympic custodian, and it's Scott Pettit. Whips it in again, near stick. The famous Hamilton bell getting rung down in the Hamilton section of the fans. But great to have your company on Bar TV this afternoon. Round 10 of the NPL, the local derby. Hamilton and Broadmeadow, the biggest derby in the competition. Vigili. Now with Cooper looking for Mooney. Mooney's speed. He's got John Griffiths to beat. John Griffiths just gets his foot in before Mooney overran him. Lucky to get the foot in, or it would have been a 1-on-1 chance, you'd think, with Nathan Archbold. Ball comes in, headed away. Magic have done enough, I think. Mooney goes down, but Pettit Going to play on down the line for Matt Hoole. He's the older brother of Andrew Hoole, playing for Sydney FC this season. Left the Jets as Cale Bradbury down in the corner. They all go down, and the referee goes with the free kick the way of the home side. After they all went down, Cale Bradbury not impressed, having a chat to the sideline official. And Danny Ireland with that free kick. Danny Ireland now up over the halfway line. Sits back and rolling away to Archbold. Bit of a nothing shot, and he plays it out to Piddington. Was injured in that loss to Western a couple of weeks ago, but back today. Played his junior football at South Wallsend, and man of the match in the 2012 grand final, Josh Piddington. As it goes over the far sideline, and throw for Hamilton. Down the line looking for Kane Goodchild. Little tip on. Piddington trying to round him with Bailey, and the free kick goes the way of Broadmeadow. Have you got any scores from the other grounds, Blake?
I don't actually. I'm waiting on a couple of replies from the South Cardiff Maitland game and some Edgeworth and Charlestown. I don't know anyone there, so I'm going to have to rely on Twitter, but there isn't anything being updated at the moment. I'll let you and the viewers know as soon as I find out.
Well, it's going to be Pettit with the free kick. Great resource, Twitter, to check all the scores. It's been great to see everyone updating all the scores throughout the season up on there, so we can check it out. Here's back stick. It's Swan knocking it away, Andrew Swan. Solid at the back. We've got another ball on the field over there. It's come over from some of the juniors playing over on that far side. Plenty of space behind the field here at Darling Street in the second ground over there. Very much like the South Cardiff home ground with the ground on the other side. Now Cale Bradbury after it. Hodges. Now to Luke Vigili. On the inside, Goodchild now. Mooney. Simon Mooney down the right-hand side. Turning around. Goodchild going for a bit of a boot. In the end, it deflected away to Magic over the top. Running down, Archbold does well. Simon Mooney with a knee injury ended his 2014 season, Blake, but how impressive has he been this season? Would have been a huge loss for them last year, seeing what he's done this year for them.
Yeah, he's been great, hasn't he? 7 goals already. Obviously.
And the knee injury last year, as I was saying, the way that he's come back this season,
it was a knee injury in a six-a-side game, I think I remember. And
so on AstroTurf, was it?
Oh, I'm not too sure. I think it might have been one of the grass ones.
Yeah.
But, yeah, obviously, I guess retrospectively it's a loss because we're seeing how good he is this season. Last season you wouldn't have really called him a loss because, well, he technically was, but they didn't know how good he was. Obviously they thought he was good to sign him. I think he came from Leighton Macquarie, so wonder.
Leighton Macquarie had some great years before he would have come to Hamilton. My knowledge doesn't go back that far, but I know Chris Turner had some great years with Macquarie. It's back with Mooney now. He looks long. Archbold with a good save. Geez, firing shots off from everywhere this year, Simon Mooney.
Yeah, he's really the man of the moment, is he? Especially in this game.
He could be one of the big finds of the NPL in northern New South Wales this year. A reminder, no NPL action next weekend. We have the break for the FFA Cup matches. The side in red today, Broadmeadow, they'll be in action against South Armidale. Adamstown as well will be in action, Edgeworth too. So 3 NPL sides from Northern New South Wales in that one. Back now for Hoole. Haven't been able to really create a great opportunity, Broadmeadow, yet. Pettit now, stamming it back to Bradbury. Bradbury turns, still with Carl Bradbury, pulls the trigger. No one at the back post. Ireland was beaten at the back post if there was someone in a red shirt to knock it in. A great chance there, Blake.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? One or two people looked a little bit disappointed that no one was running at the back stick, because I don't know if it was a shot or a cross, but either way, it turned into a really good cross. So if there was someone running in there, all they had to do was get a foot to it and it would have been 1-1. So it's turned into a real tight game, hasn't it? We saw that opening goal in the 11th minute, but since then it's been back and forth, and both keepers are doing a really good job, in my opinion.
Well, Hamilton with the best defence in the competition now after they've overtaken Western. Western with the best defence over the early part of the competition. Goals against just 10 for Hamilton's defence. They've conceded an average of 1.1 per game. Ball over the top. Now Danny Ireland comes out. On the other hand, Broadmeadow on average have conceded 1.6 per game. However, Broadmeadow have the advantage when it comes to goals scored, 2.9 on average per game this year compared to Hamilton's 2.3. So, goal scoring wise, Magic have the advantage, but Hamilton have shown this season that they have the ability to stop them. Just 10 goals, as I said, conceded. Broadmeadow have scored 26 in the competition. That average of 2.9, as I said, that's the best in the competition. Griffiths now, Finlayson. Attempted ball through from Fajkovic. Pettit looking long and back post to Casaroli. Going into the box, and Hamilton do well. And against a side whose defence rates second last in the competition, Charlestown, with 25 goals conceded this year. Ball comes into the smashes into the roof here on the grandstand. Decent crack. Yeah, against the side with the second worst defence in the competition last week, Charlestown, Broadmeadow couldn't find a goal. So interesting last week. They were kept to naught for just the second time this year after that round 1 match against Hamilton. Down the line and a run to Archbold. Do you think they've just lost a bit of confidence after that loss to Western, Blake? What do you think's been up with Magic over the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, I wouldn't have a clue. I wasn't there last week. I know Peter Haynes did play because he missed a penalty, so that was obviously a chance for them, to get one, give them a bit of confidence. But I think I don't think they were outplayed by Western. Obviously, Western dominated after Peter Haynes went off, but they were still in the game. Like, they got it back to 3-3, and Western scored a late win in like the last minute, didn't they? So I think last week was just a bit of a mishap, and I think a good result here can get their season back on track.
Round 11 will be back in a couple of weeks. Looking at the weekend of the 28th, 27th and 28th, round 11 will be played. Trying to remember the match that we had in round 2. It was Western Lambton we had in round 2, so I'll find out at halftime which game we do have in round 11 and get back to you. Now with Fajkovic. Getting down the left side, Dino Fajkovic puts it back in. Hamilton doing very, very well at the back again. Mooney down the line, looks for Reece Cooper. He's got Goodchild on the inside. And Piddington now with the ball at the back. The goal for Hamilton, Simon Mooney from a free kick in the 10th minute. Nathan Archbold seemed to lose sight of it, and it went in the near stick. Looked for all money as if it was going wide. So we think there may have been a deflection. 40.5 gone in the first half, so just 5 to go. Now to Pettit. Back to Higgins. Scott Pettit in the Newcastle Jets side, in the Newcastle Jets squad to play David Beckham's LA Galaxy a few years ago, but didn't take part in the match. Played for the Jets youth in 2010 and the State League Player of the Year in 2012. And started his time at Swansea FC, who are back in the new FM League. As Reece Cooper's not going to get away, it's going to be an offside against Hamilton. Free kick for Broadmeadow. It's been a bit of an arm wrestle this game, Blake. Both sides unable to really create any attacking chances in the opening 41 minutes. Been a bit of a scrappy contest.
Yeah, it's been a real battle in the midfield, hasn't it? They're sort of getting into their attacking thirds respectively, and then not really making much of it either. There's been a few shots and a couple of good saves. Obviously, Simon Mooney springs to mind, and I think Dino Fajovic had a shot down there into the side netting as we see a breakaway here with Kane Goodchild.
Goodchild, can he put Swan through? Matt Swan's there, but he can't get it to him, and it's cleared up the middle of the ground and over the sideline. So Hamilton will win the throw. Yeah, Simon Mooney with that long-range effort, but it just shows the tightness of the defence, that the only goal was from the long-range free kick from Mooney. A great turn from Mooney here down the right-hand side. He's got Luke Vigili putting a bit of pressure on him, and he's lost out in the end, and throw for Broadmeadow. Fajkovic. Higgins now for Finlayson, I should say Vigili. Luke Vigili on that far side. Pokes it down the line for Bradbury. Had a wonderful start to the year, Cale Bradbury. But of late hasn't grabbed that one goal against Western, but hasn't added since then to his tally of 9. Dino Fajkovic with 8 scored against Western, scored the 1 goal against Western as well. Casaroli on the turn over the sideline, another throw for Broadmeadow. Jacob Bailey on the ball. Goes down the line looking for Goodchild, over the top for a bit of a deflection there from Piddington into Goodchild. Piddington in the middle of the ground. Kyle Hodges. The sting has gone right out of this game in the last 20 minutes or so. The crowd has died down. The challengers have died down as well, Blake. It's just sort of a little bit dead of late.
Yeah, I reckon we're going to see a big second half. That's my prediction. A really big second half.
Warming up, are we? Warming up for the big show in the last 45 minutes. Finlayson keeps it in but goes down. Referee plays it on. Poole now, squaring it towards Casaroli. Back to Casaroli. Can he have a hit? He's been given a little bit of a tug, and the referee says there's the free kick. So here's a little bit of crowd getting into it again. Kyle Hodges not happy at all. He was getting a little bit of a tug on the shirt, and in the end he turned the ball over and went down after he lost it. Was there a free kick there, Blake?
Oh, it's a real 50-50, isn't it? If you're a Magic fan, you say yes, and if you're an Olympic fan, you say no. So,
well, we'll see if Scott Pettit can take advantage of it. It's probably fair enough. There's been some free kicks not given by the referee. He's been pretty lenient on a lot of the challenges referee this afternoon. But here's Pettit. He's got an open. Here we go. Pettit looking. Oh, Ireland looked towards the back stick, and Danny Ireland went down low. That was where he opened it all up. Did Danny Ireland? He stood on the right-hand side from his perspective. Ball through looking for Kane Goodchild. And the referee says after 12 seconds of extra time of added time in the first half, that will do us. And it's Hamilton, the home side, with the lead, a 1-0 lead over Broadmeadow Magic, the away side, this afternoon. So that goal, Simon Mooney in the 10th minute. Yellow cards went the way of Josh Piddington, John Griffiths for Broadmeadow, and Kyle Hodges for Hamilton. And Jaden Barber left the field early on with an injury, and Matt Hull came onto the ground. What did you make of the opening half out here today, Blake?
Yeah, I think you summed it up really well. It was a pretty cracking game for about 15 minutes, wasn't it? And then there's a couple of, I think 10 minutes after that, it started to slow down, and then the sting really went out of the game. So I'm predicting and I'm hoping that we see a big second half. Obviously, that free kick there by Scott Pettit made the half seem a little bit better. Like it was a good chance and a great save by Danny Island. But I think both sides have a lot more than what they've shown in the first half.
Well, we'll be back for the second half action in about 10 minutes' time. So it's been great to have your company for the first half. We look forward to seeing you for the second half, which is sure to be a cracker, hopefully better than what we've seen in the first. So until then, we'll catch you later.
This is for the players. For those that leap into battle in the blink of an eye. For the drivers that compete for their club, no matter where they are. For everyone who has triumphs, tips and tricks to share.
And for those who love to play with complete freedom, this is for the game changers, the innovators. This is for the players. This is PS4.
Australia's leading sports organisations have made a pledge to tackle youth binge drinking.
Now when you're watching your favourite sports, like football,
Swimming, basketball,
Netball,
and athletics.
you'll see this logo.
it's all about coming together to have a positive influence on our drinking culture.
We're strong enough to say enough.
And you can be too.
Back your judgment.
Stand up for what you believe in.
Be the influence.
Here's your story, let's begin. The water's fine, come on, dive in. The future's here, it's right before your eyes. Step by step, you're on your way. Welcome to a brighter day. Don't you know it feels good to be alive? You could be larger than life, bigger than the world, living out the whole
Welcome back. Second half action here at Darling Street. Hamilton and Broadmeadow. It's Hamilton with a 1-0 lead. Simon Mooney with the goal in the 10th minute. Just waiting for the officials, I believe. It's the officials that aren't out there. This is incredible. Normally it's the officials pulling the players out.
Yeah, usually get the refs banging on your door at half time when you're trying to talk.
I'm just checking. I'll check if our cameraman can get a shot of the referees area. Are you able to? Oh, you can't spin it. He's gonna try and do his best. We're gonna see if the refs. There we go. There they come. A bit late, but they're coming out. They're probably gonna be shocked to see the players. The players already all out there waiting for them. Here they come. Jaden Barber there in front of them, just going towards the bench. He's already got his crutches out, so that's not a good sign for Broadmeadow. So the sideline officials just coming in and checking the nets before we get underway in the second half. So you think it'll be a bit more exciting this half, Blake, than what we saw in the opening 45?
Yeah.
The officials checking the net. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, I was just cut you off.
I think it will be. I hope it'll be like the first 15. As I said just before we went away, the first 15 was great, and then the next two 15s weren't as great, were they? But it's a big day here. There's a big crowd out here to see this derby, and the second half is now underway.
And it's Reece Cooper straight off the kickoff and down the right-hand side, finding Simon Mooney on the right. And he goes over the sideline, a throw for Hamilton. Yeah, you always find of all derbies, the first 15, 20 minutes is always very energetic. And then if not much is going on, it sort of dies down a little bit. So we'll hope it can stay relatively close for the remainder of the game. And we'll get a cracking contest. We've got a message from Jamie Burns, whether that's the Jamie Burns that plays for Lambton. He said, keep us updated with the South Carter First Maitland game. Do you have any updates on Twitter about that one, Blake?
No, I don't actually. I haven't been getting any replies, and I haven't seen anything on Twitter, so sorry, Jamie, mate. Can't let you know any information yet.
Here we got a free kick going the way of Hamilton. Down the line, another free kick. Kane Goodchild blowing up at the referee. And Broadmeadow are going to get the free kick through Archbold in goals, Nathan Archbold. Pettit trying to cut inside now. Now away here, going down there's Jacob Bailey. As it ran down, Casaroli went down. So Danny Ireland with the goal kick. The last 5 games we were speaking about earlier, last 5 at Darling Street, Magic have won 3 of the last 5. But the last 5 games overall, Olympic have won 3 out of the 5, and 1 was a draw. So 4 of the 5 undefeated for Olympic, and so far with a 1-0 lead. So they've had the wood over Broadmeadow in the last few matches. Overall, they've played 51 games, Olympic 22, Magic 20, draws 9. So Magic just falling off the pace in their overall head-to-head. All-time record there. There's the throw down the line. Griffiths goes inside. Now it's Swan playing it to Cooper, who's onside. Reece Cooper. He's got the cavalry coming on the inside. Swan and Goodchild takes it to the byline. Cooper, he cracks it. And Ben Higgins was on the ground, diving and saving the day for Broadmeadow on that occasion. Much like Kyle Hodges in the first half, he's played 137 games for Broadmeadow, 4 wins in the grand final with Broadmeadow as well. And Guitarra South was where he started off in his junior years. There's Mooney with the free kick. Back post, the header from Mason Campbell goes way over. He got a good piece of it in the end there, Mason Campbell on screen. Was the captain for Hamilton in the first match we did when they took ball over the top and down and over the sideline. Throw going to Hamilton. Piddington towards Griffiths. Good child getting up, looking back to Cooper, but Finlayson was after it, but Swan got to it first. Karotkic. Davies, but he's headed it straight to Higgins. Jason Karotic played for North Lake Salvos last year in the Christian Churches comp, I'm pretty sure. Pettit, back stick, here's the header. Playing it back towards Casaroli. Fajkovic with the shot. He couldn't keep it down, and that's gone flying over and out of Darling Street from Fajkovic there. And Danny Ireland will have the goal kick for Hamilton. He's been hardly troubled this afternoon, Blake, as Danny Ireland.
Yeah, I think he's got a couple of gathers off set pieces, hasn't he? And cleaning up the scraps a few times. But yeah, he hasn't had that much to do. I think Archibald down the other end's had a lot more to do. But I think that'll change in the second half. I think they'll both have a lot to do.
Well, here's Hoole. Magic will have to throw caution point and push up. They've got 3 at the back at the moment. As he goes down the line with down, it's going to be a corner. Well, Magic playing with 3 at the back in the first half, Blake. Did you notice it all?
No, they've had Piddington and Higgins in the middle. Luke Virgilia was right back, and
was it Matt Hoole or
no?
Barber?
Matt Hoole was up in the midfield.
Well, here's the free kick coming in. Piddington tried to get his head to it. Fajkovic sort of dropping back. Hoole, that's his good shot. Here's problems. Here's big problems for Broadmeadow. Good shot. Stabbing one over the top for Mooney, who's very quick. We saw that in the first half. Simon Mooney coming down to the byline, cutting it back post, and again, that ball looking for Matt Swan wasn't on the money. Seen a few of those balls crosses to the back stick just being overcooked this afternoon, Blake.
Yeah, they have having obviously Matt Swan's free kick in the first half springs to mind, doesn't it? That one that was really overhit. I don't think it's a small ground by any means. Obviously, it's a lot smaller than Western, but just off target today with their crosses.
Yeah, Magic. Yeah, well they're looking like Luke Virgili's sort of pushing up, so they're sort of playing. I'd probably still say they're playing with 4 at the back. Would you say, Blake?
Yeah, they definitely are. Coming back to memory, Matt Hill wasn't playing midfield in the first half. He was playing right back. So
yeah, he was pushing back in the match against Western. I think he was in the midfield, but today with that early injury to Jaden Barber, he had to come onto the ground. Here's Virgili down the left-hand side. Luke Virgili. Good challenge there down in the corner from Tom Davies. Another big challenge, and there's the free kick for Broadmeadow. Not really an uproar from the fans. Challenge from Tom Davies. Scott Pettit is going to take this one. Him and the 2 number 7s, the free kick takers for their respective sides, Pettit and Mooney today. He had a chance of a free kick right before half time, but Danny Ireland baited him nicely into knocking it straight to where he was going to dive. There's Pettit, he's overcooked that one a little bit. And Griffiths with the header, going to win himself his side a corner. So 53 gone in this one. It's Hamilton 1, Broadmeadow 0 at Darling Straight Oval this afternoon, round 10 of the NPL. Here it is into the middle. Higgins with a header off the line. Well, it was Reece Cooper who saved the day for Hamilton. Up goes Danny Ireland. Reece Cooper stopping the goal-bound header from Ben Higgins. Now for Davies. Goes down the line. Goodchild now. Kane Goodchild cutting inside. Still with Kane Goodchild. Almost falls over. He does in the end. Piddington knocks it to Fajkovic. Back to Griffiths. He's turned it over. Bailey goes across to Swan. Over to his brother Andrew. Andrew Swan down the left side for Olympic. He takes a very good dive. In the end, it's Matt Hoole away with it. That was I should pardon the pun here, Blake, but that was a good swan dive. Here's Fajkovic down the left-hand side. That was a shocking joke, and it's with Fajkovic on the left. His name sets it up perfectly for this sport. Vigili across the ground and headed away by Matt Swan. Out in front of the Hamilton Olympic side on the far side of the ground. Higgins goes to Bradbury. Bradbury turns and tries to find Finlayson, who goes down, putting his body on the line with Mason Campbell again. Mooney. Cross looking for Matt Swan. Didn't get there in the end. It was Andrew Swan, but it goes down to Archbold in goals. And one thing I've noticed this afternoon, Blake, is that Hamilton at the back, they're just putting their body on the line every time a ball goes into the penalty area. Putting their bodies in front of it. And that's why they're the best defensive side in the comp this season. Now for Piddington, down the line. Vigili turning Davies inside and out. He goes down and wins the corner. Well, here's Pettit's corner, going back post and over the byline. Goal kick for Ireland. 1-0 Olympic leading Magic. Over on that far side of the ground now. Ball down the line, and Kane Goodchild is after it for Olympic. He's got Simon Mooney and Reece Cooper in the box. Tries to get away from Higgins. Matt Hill with a throw for Broadmeadow. Just trying to get these other scores for you, but unable to get them at the moment. Those other games, Edgeworth, Charlestown, and South Cardiff and Maitland. Down the line now, it's Swan. Putting it on, trying to put a ball on in the inside, and Archbold is going to have the goal kick. Now on the far side, Hoole trying to go on the inside for Bradbury. Cale Bradbury around the edge. And he put one in, still with Bradbury. And over the sideline, a throw going the way of Hamilton. He's not impressed with that. Is Cale Bradbury. up the line looking for Goodchild. Now for Griffiths. Back to Piddington. Now for Swan, he's knocked it over the sideline, so Magic a chance to assert some pressure. Throw over now for Hoole. Goes to Pettit. In the end, it's come away with Goodchild now. Kane Goodchild down the left-hand side. Turned over. Ben Higgins. Hoole goes away to Casaroli now. Dan Casaroli down the middle of the ground for Broadmeadow. Now for Pettit. Casaroli all the way back to Higgins. Now across to Vigili. Fajkovic back to Piddington, so Magic just trying to build up here, you sense. Here's Casaroli, a little bit of space. He has a hit, Dan Casaroli, it's gone over. Danny Island seemed to have it covered. Magic fans happy with the build-up. No goal in the end.
Yeah, so we're just 20 seconds short of the hour mark, aren't we? And it's still 1-0 to Hamilton through that goal from Simon Mooney. The second half started a lot like the first ended, hasn't it? A little bit slow, and both teams are still trying to get back into this one.
It's now with Hoole. And it's going to be a free kick going the way of Scott Pettit. So Scott Pettit's going to have this one. Over on the far side of the ground. So here he comes. Knocking it back post. No one really there. Simon Mooney with the header away. And here come Hamilton on the break. Down the left-hand side, Swan. He's got Cooper and he's also got Tom Davies pushing up. Piddington clear. Goodchild now played it back now for Davies. Davies with a deflected shot. It goes to Goodchild, who was offside. And the referee's just going to play it on. Here we go. Here's Swan getting into the box. Andrew Swan with the shot. Archbold, it's over him. It's in. Hamilton have scored. It's Andrew Swan with the goal. An Olympic lead 2-0. And the bell is ringing again here today.
Olympic 2, Broadmeadow Magic 0.
Hamilton on fire, leading by 2-0 against Broadmeadow now. And it's going to be tough. So 2-0 now, Hamilton. Doing our best to you. We'll give it to you as soon as we have him. Here's a ball down the line. So Broadmeadow are going to have to throw caution to the wind. Pettit cutting it back. Here's a chance. It ran away from Bradbury. And now Mooney. So Broadmeadow. Here's a way for Swan if he can get there before Higgins. But Higgins does really, really, really well. So we have got those scores. Hoole now on the inside. Looks for Pettit. Pettit. Bradbury posted. Goes wide.
Yeah, we've got a Soccer Live score side up here. It obviously says that Charlestown and Edgeworth are 0-0 after 61 minutes and Maitland and South Cardiff 0-0 after 65, but I'm not too sure how accurate that actually is.
I'm pretty sure that is very, very accurate, Blake, because Chris Turner, who I was speaking to yesterday, former Maitland coach, is doing a bit of work on that. So I'm pretty sure that'll be close to accurate. He's got the score here, Hamilton Olympic 2-0 over Broadmeadow. So if If you're watching, Chris, thanks for working on this, because it's a great help to us. So 0 all those other games. Coming from the ground now, it's Luke Vigili who's come from the pitch, and it's Ko Sangin. Just check if that. It's Ben Higgins that's come from the ground, not Luke Vigili. So Ben Higgins off the ground. It's Ko Sangin. So that's definitely an attacking move for Broadmeadow.
Number 4 Ben Higgins has been replaced by number 21 Ko Sangin.
Casaroli down the line. So that second goal has forced the hand of Magic boss Rob Vigili. So 0-0 in the other two fixtures, all important this afternoon. May have a little bit of a return to form of late of Charlestown after that win over Broadmeadow, doing well against Edgeworth. Now with Mooney down the left-hand side, Simon Mooney. He's got Kane Goodchild. Him and John Griffiths are grabbing hold of each other's shirt down the other end of the ground. And now Swan coming in with the elbow. Bit of a yellow card coming out here for Andrew Swan. And he gets that, Andrew Swan. So 2 yellow cards each now, both sides. A little bit of hip and shoulder in that one from Andrew Swan. And as we tick over to the 20-minute mark in the second half. So almost 65 gone. You sense, Blake, all Broadmeadow need this afternoon is a goal, and they could come flooding into it.
Yeah, it would give them a bit of confidence, wouldn't it?
Well, here it is. It comes in, but Hamilton do well. Hamilton's defence has been wonderful this afternoon, just like it has been all season. They haven't scored a goal in their last 155 minutes of play, Broadmeadow. No goals in the last 155, and that's exactly the same for their last 155 against Olympic as well.
Yeah, Hamilton only had 2 clean sheets this year, which is surprising considering they've got the best defensive. They've only let in a maximum of 2. They've let in 2 in 3 games, and they've only let in 1 in 4 games.
Yeah, they've been very miserly, and we've seen that this afternoon. This time it's Matt Swan, his brother Andrew with the goal a couple of minutes ago. Sangin has lost the ball. Good child, and now Casaroli diving in. Casaroli's gone down, and it's going to be a yellow card for Goodchild. He is not happy at all with the referee, but he goes into the books. Third Hamilton player to go into the books. And Josh Piddington, the Broadmeadow captain, is going to have this one. Just double check those other scores. It's 1-1, Edgeworth and Charlestown now. So 1-1 after 65 minutes in that one. The ball back comes back for Hoole now. Knocked forward. Bradbury goes down. Referee waves play on. And Danny Island with the goal kick. Looks long as Danny Island. Now with Karotic. Still with Karotic. And over the sideline now. Throw for the home side, a free kick, I should say, for the home side. It's going to be Mooney over there to take it. No, it's not. It's going to be Swan who's going to come down and take it. Goes short to Karotic. Has to play it off to Mooney. In the end, Hoole intercepted it well. Back from Pettit. Off towards Jacob Bailey. Casaroli on the ball now. Ko Sangin played in the Japanese third division last season. Pettit off to Sangin. Lovely little 1-2 with Pettit. So I've got some space down the right-hand side. Pettit puts it in and doesn't get past the first line of Hamilton defence. And they're away now through Bailey. Jacob Bailey trying to cut inside, sang in.
Looks like there's about to be a substitution for Hamilton here with Matt Harper warming up down the side on the sideline. He's just taking his jacket off and he's just taking a seat in the dugout.
Yeah, no changes yet for Hamilton, I believe, Blake, as of yet. See, here goes Bailey. He goes down, and there's going to be a card you'd expect here. Cool now. So a couple of substitutions for Broadmeadow. They've only got the one left. Hool and sang in. In a strange match, Blake, in the sense that Broadmeadow just... Hamilton's defence... Broadmeadow don't even look like scoring.
No, they don't, do they? You're right. Obviously, we've seen off that cross there, in from the right, it was just headed away with ease by Hamilton.
Well, here's Mooney with a free kick. It's another well-positioned free kick from Simon Mooney. Once again, not enough dip, and Nathan Archbold watches it go over. Though he would have been a little bit nervous about it, and here is the substitution that Blake was talking about. It's Matt Harper coming on, and it looks like it's going to be... It looks like it's...
Jason Karotic.
Karotic is going to come from the ground. So Jason Karotic, number 19, coming from the ground.
Replacement in the Olympic team.
Matt Harper coming on.
In place by number 20, Matt Harper.
Here's the goal kick, downfield. Sang in, rises. Nice header from him. Got up very nicely. Up again. Couple of shoulders. Jacob Bailey and Mike Finlayson getting into it. Piddington down the ground. Cale Bradbury's after it. Still with Cale Bradbury, trying to come to the 18. Bradbury, can he hit a shot? He plays it back for Pettit. And in the end, he really didn't put his laces through it. Sort of stabbed it. And it goes straight to Danny Ireland in goals. Groans from the Magic. And Blake, we've got scores from the other ground.
Yeah, Maitland are up 2-0 over South Cardiff at home.
Well, here's Pettit down the right-hand side. Scott Pettit. Magic just trying to fight back of late. Here's the ball in, back stick. Vigili tries to keep it in. Well, goal here from Broadmeadow, but they've got to get it soon, you sense. Otherwise, it could get away from them.
Yeah, they've had a lot of attacking chances in the last 10 minutes, but they haven't taken their chances yet. And Chris Berlin is about to come on now, so that could be a good sign for Magic with a fresh face up front.
So Chris Berlin on. Also Hamilton are making a change. The star of the show today, Simon Mooney, comes from the ground. Pat Brown comes on the far side. And Scott Pettit leaves the ground.
Number 7, Simon Mooney. Replaced by 17, Pat Brown. And a change for Magic.
So Chris Berlin on for Scott Pettit for Broadmeadow, and Pat Brown on for Simon Mooney for the Olympic, for Hamilton Olympic. And now it sits up for Andrew Swan. Almost crashed into Kane Goodchild. Chris Berlin now. Good distributor. We saw that against Western. And now for Vigili on the inside. Sang in. Back for Casaroli. Still with Dan Casaroli. Looks for a long-range effort. That's really not going to worry Danny Ireland. It went straight to him. It was a good hit. It was on target. But went straight to Danny Ireland. Casaroli playing it off now to Piddington. Now for Griffiths. Griffiths played it to Hool. Back to Griffiths. Looking over the top. Down towards Bradbury. Danny Ireland comes out and does well. Takes it nicely. And the scoreline here at Bar TV. Match of the round in round 10. It's Hamilton 2, Broadmeadow 0. Piddington up for the head. Casaroli trying to hold off Jacob Bailey. It was putting a bit of pressure on him. Down the line now, Vigili. Vigili, he's got Tom Davies still with Vigili. Gets run off it. Nice defending there from... Vigili goes in. Referee doesn't look like he's going to his pocket. He isn't. And free kick to Hamilton in the corner. Can you see a way back into this one for Broadmeadow, Blake, or do you think Hamilton are just going to grind this one out?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, time isn't in their favour, but a lot of this half's been up. Magic's attacking third, and if they can just take their chances, they're a real chance of getting a win in this one, or even pulling it back to 2-2. But they've got to start doing that. Out at Cook Square Park, Maitland have gone up against South Carolina.
So Maitland doing very, very well out there today. Here's crowd not impressed again. Sang in. Ko sang in. Pat Brown with the challenge which earned the ire of the Broadmeadow fans. Here's Hoole. Matt Hoole goes to Fajkovic. Scored 8 goals this season. There's Dino Fajkovic playing for the Jaffers last year. He's come into his own at Broadmeadow this year. Ball over the top from Hoole. Danny Ireland with the goal kick. So we're almost into the final 15. 74-45 gone. Hamilton 2, Broadmeadow 0. So those scores, as Blake said before, Maitland leading South Cardiff 3-0. And it's 1-1 in the match between Edgeworth and Charlestown. As the ball runs to Luke Vigili. Chris Berlin, who's just come onto the ground, played his juniors at Stockton and played for Edgeworth from 2001 to 2005. And Hamilton, the side they meet today from in 08 and 09, and won the grand final with them in 2009. Piddington on the ball, Josh Piddington. Kane Goodchild putting a little bit of a foot in. Berlin, good foot in from Harper. Looks for Swan, there's an offside against Matt Swan.
That's why I got this break in play. Going back to those scores, if it stays like that, Charlestown drawing with Edgeworth and Maitland beating South Cardiff, Maitland will go off the bottom and bypass 9th. They'll go into 8th. Charlestown will be 9th and South Cardiff last.
Yeah, a bit of a worry for South Cardiff. They've been awfully unlucky with injuries, Blake, this season. They've had plenty of players out. Ko sang in. Looking back post. Over there with Fajkovic trying to get in, but again they steal the ball, Hamilton. They do wonderful work over there. It's with Pat Brown trying to get away. Hoole looking on the inside. Weaves away from a challenge from Brown. Couldn't get away from Bailey, and it goes to Kane Goodchild there. A little bit of a tug from behind from Griffiths. It's getting a bit fiery. Goodchild won't be happy about this. There's the yellow card coming out. All over him. And yellow card, definitely a deserving yellow card there for John Griffiths. Now, we did see a yellow card in the first half, a little bit of push and shove, a bit of frustration. Michael Finlayson getting in. Did John Griffiths get a yellow in the first half? I did write it down. Oh, it may have been someone else. It's he's going to speak to his sideline official about what's happened here. Finlayson and Jacob Bale having a bit of a set to. So I'm going to say that's a first yellow card to John Griffiths, and the yellow in the first half went to someone else, because I don't see why he would make such a challenge knowing he was on a yellow. We are going to see another yellow card coming out. Has that gone to Casaroli or Finlayson, do you think, Blake?
Oh, I'd assume it's gone to Finlayson, but so we can't be sure. They'll both standing next to each other, but you'd think it would go to Mike Finlayson.
So a little bit of feeling now. We said first 15, both sides getting right into it. The last 15 could be the same thing, but one thing Hamilton have lost is their master free kick taker in Simon Mooney. So Mason Campbell's going to step up to the plate and see what he can do. Campbell, he goes short, looking for Goodchild. So he kept it in good shoulder. He goes down after he did try and keep it in, and Chris Berlin goes down the left side. As I said before, former Hamilton player, grand final winner in 2009, went to Magic in 2010 and was man of the match in the 2011 grand final that Magic did win. Matt Hoole, Casaroli. Back and looking for Piddington. Down the line, finds Vigili. Chris Berlin again. He's got Finlayson on the inside. Mike Finlayson looking for Sang-in. Hoole now on the far side of the ground. Time just ticking away for Broadmeadow. Ball in, backstick, Berlin rose, but Tom Davies got the head to it. Back for Vigili. Vigili puts it in, and that's straight down the throat of Danny Ireland. We'll roll it out towards Swan on the far side of the ground. Throw now over there for Hamilton. Andrew Swan for Brown. Poole and Brown in a bit of a tussle for possession over there. It goes the way of Broadmeadow. Casaroli across to Piddington now. Into Sang-in. Matt Swan has a bit of an air swing. He did have an air swing. Campbell down the line. Piddington. Casaroli back to Hoole. Hoole to Finlayson now. Mike Finlayson turning on the ball. Going back to Hoole. Casaroli again, Magic. Trying to build up, holding on to possession. Wide it goes for Vigili. Trying to put one in as Luke Vigili goes near stick. Mason Campbell does well. They've dealt really well with crosses all afternoon, haven't they, Blake? The Hamilton back line.
They look really prepared. I don't know if it's something they worked on during the week of training, but the defence, especially Campbell and Hodges, has been very strong today.
Vigili, Sang-in. Goes, trying to get into the box. Berlin, chance. Hodges does well to get it away. Matt Swan under a bit of duress from Vigili. And the free kick goes the way of Hamilton after Tom Davies was knocked over by Fajkovic. We'll just check those scores at the other grounds again. 1-1, Charlestown Edgeworth, 2-0 Hamilton and Broadmeadow here, and 3-0 Maitland and South Cardiff. Into the final minutes of all of these matches. Hoole turned over straight to Kyle Hodges, and that challenge in the first half from him when Fajkovic and Bradbury had a 2-on-1 at the back seems so important now. Pat Brown goes down. Hoole looks down the line for Cale Bradbury. It's not Cale Bradbury over there, it's Fajkovic. Cale Bradbury on the inside, and I don't know what's going on there from Fajkovic. Just went to put it in, came off the side and goes over the byline. What's going on with Broadmeadow at the moment, Blake? They just haven't seemed to be like themselves today.
Yeah, I think what you said before, maybe the two losses has seen them lose a bit of confidence, but I think today just has been, they've been getting themselves in that front third. They've been Hamilton have been dealing well, but they've been, in a way, some of them have been pretty poor, and they just haven't really, maybe not haven't taken their chances, maybe they haven't really created that much.
And probably after this game, this ball runs down towards Archbold. Piddington does well. And they were saying he was outside of his area. The Hamilton fans, sideline official didn't agree. Vigili. Now for Chris Berlin. Chris Berlin, Davies takes him down. The whistle from the referee goes the way of Hamilton. And it's going to be Danny Ireland with the goal kick, with the free kick, I should say. Or maybe the break next week for Broadmeadow playing South Armidale might be good for them just to regain a little bit of confidence. I'm not saying that South Armidale are going to be easy beats by any stretch, but
yeah, it's probably come at the wrong time for Hamilton, hasn't it, that break?
Yeah, they are in some strong form. They won't be playing next week, Hamilton. They're been knocked out of the FFA Cup. He's a ball over the top. Cale Bradbury. Can he get there before Mason Campbell? He hits the shot. Danny Ireland does well again. They just can't breach the Hamilton wall, the Great Wall of Hamilton today. And Danny Ireland with the goal kick. Shows his drop kicking skills down towards Poole. Casaroli. Goodchild now. He's away. He's got Matt Swan on his right, Kane Goodchild. He goes to try and find him, and he couldn't. Was well intercepted by Piddington. Chris Berlin goes over the sideline. And Swan is going to be Davies with the throw. Swan a little head over the top. Knocked over the sideline at the back by Griffiths. Throw down there going the way of Tom Davies. So 84 minutes, just over 84 gone. It's 2-0 on Bar TV's round 10 match of the round, the local derby. Broadmeadow and Hamilton. Here's some space for Chris Berlin. Just lost his footing. Goes back to Hoole now, who goes over halfway, Matt Hoole. Played his juniors at Lambton. Finlayson looking for a shot. It'll trickle straight to Danny Ireland. And Hamilton again come away, but looking to our left, the left of screen, pretty much for a majority of the second half, Blake. Broadmeadow just unable to put it away in the end, but puts it on the inside. Here's some Kane Goodchild at the back post. Piddington just got his head in and saves Broadmeadow's bacon. If that went in, the game was, you'd sense, all but over. Sang in, loses out to Harper, goes down the line off Swan and over the sideline. Piddington goes long and down the line. Well controlled by Fadjovic. Lovely ball over the top. Vigili goes down to the line. Bit of a challenge on Davies. He falls over. Tries to put it in. Campbell heads it away again. So less than 5 to go now. Reese Cooper evades a challenge from Chris Berlin. And Pat Brown is offside. Archbold. Play. Poole. Inside. Finlayson. And free kick for the visitors. Broadmeadow. Casaroli. John Griffiths plays it. Referee wants it retaken.
Might just knock this one long into the box now, I think.
Hamilton all in the... Well, Reese Cooper and Pat Brown are the only two that aren't in there. Goodchild and Piddington with a challenge. It was headed away, and now is a chance for Pat Brown. He's got Reese Cooper. Is he onside, Reese Cooper? He is onside. Flag stays down. Cooper down the right-hand side. He's got Goodchild on the inside. He looks back post. Up they go, Pat Brown, but it's headed back from Hoole to Archbold. And Broadmeadow are going to try and attack here. They've got less than 3 minutes now in regulation time to grab a couple of goals, create and complete a miraculous fight back. It is Brown down the left. Griffiths with a challenge. Falls over to Pat Brown. The referee gives the free kick to Broadmeadow. Sang in. Still with Sang in. So stay tuned next weekend on Bar TV for Sunday-wise of the FFA Cup. Maybe doing something in regards to that game. So the matches on Sunday. So stay tuned. Bar TV on Facebook, on Twitter as well, and you'll find out whether we are doing a game next week. As here's Swan down the line. Matt Swan, bit of a tug from Vigili. He'll get a yellow card. Well, Luke Vigili. Another player to go into the referee's book today. No reds yet. I won't rule it out. There are a few players on the yellows this afternoon. see who is going to take it. Looks like we've got a change. Cody Lucas coming on, and Reese Cooper leaving the ground for Hamilton.
Replacement for Olympic, number 10 Reese Cooper, has been replaced by 15 Cody Lucas.
Tom Davies with the free kick. A lot of the Hamilton players sitting back. Piddington heads it away. Poole. Let's see, we go down the right-hand side. Sang-Hin. Still with Ko Sang-Hin. Can he put a shot? Ireland with a tap over the top. So Broadmeadow with a late corner to see if they can grab one back. And Blake, we got some scores from the other ground. We've got a change at Charlestown Edgeworth.
Yeah, Edgeworth's gone ahead 2-1 late in that match.
So 3-0 still the score, Maitland and South Cardiff. And that's after 88, Charlestown and Edgeworth. The 90-plus matches, Hamilton and Maitland, both into stop. Well, we're not quite stoppage time here. Here's Ireland rising nicely. Mason Campbell certainly getting that way. We're about 30 seconds off going into stoppage time. Here's the ball over the top. And we've got an offside against Matt Swan. That was probably a handball as well. Hoole playing it on quickly. Now for Casaroli. So a reminder, next Sunday on Bar TV, no NPL because of the FFA Cup, but stay tuned for maybe some FFA Cup action. We'll find out, as I said, Facebook and Twitter are your best bets to check out if we are covering those matches on the Sunday. Edgeworth, Adamstown and Broadmeadow in action next week in the FFA Cup from Northern New South Wales. Kane Goodchild getting away. How much speed has he got? He's got Piddington on the inside. He's got some speed down the flank as Kane Goodchild. Keeps it in. Knocks it back stick. There's Pat Brown there, way outside of the box. Pat Brown, but Matt Hoole does well to get across and make the challenge. So any questions you've got for the coaches, if you want to comment below, if you want me to ask any of the coaches any questions in the post-match interviews, which you can catch on YouTube at the end of the game on the Bar TV Sports YouTube channel. Down to Piddington. Virgili knocks it over the top. Sang-Hin. Finlayson, a little bump on. We are into stoppage time. A minute now gone. Probably won't be too much of stoppage time, Blake, because we haven't had that many stoppages in the second half. Mason Campbell is going to have the free kick. Looks for Kane Goodchild. Still with Goodchild. He's turned it over to Griffiths. Virgili. Back to Piddington. Back to Archbold. Nathan Archbold across to Matt Hoole. Slowly ticking down this afternoon. Sun setting at Darling Street. And what's been a tough contest, Finlayson. Still with Casaroli down the left-hand side. Plays it to Chris Berlin. Swan gets in and nicks it off him. Picks his pocket. Back on the inside now. Goes from Lucas across to Pat Brown. Back to Andrew Swan. Andrew Swan down the left. Can they get one more? Hamilton. They beat Broadmeadow 3-0 here last year. They can repeat the dose this year if they grab another one. And it would mean, and it goes over the sideline from Tom Davies, it would mean that their last 5 games, Olympic have won 4 and the one draw, the one in round 1 this season. So Magic struggling of late against Olympic.
Yeah, it's also Olympics' 6th win in a row in the season. Once the full-time whistle goes, they won their last 5 going into this one, and then there's 2.
They are in some hot form as it comes away to Chris Berlin. He hit the post against Western right on half-time, a crucial moment that was. And he scored the winner against Adamstown a few weeks ago in the last minute for Broadmeadow. Here's Lucas, an elbow into Hoole. No, the referee was right there. A little bit of a bump. was into his body, so it was deemed to be okay. Finlayson back to Sangin. Finlayson back to Sangin again. Deflects away. Back to Casaroli. Still with Casaroli. Sangin. Casaroli. Down, try to play it back to Sangin. And it's going to be another goal kick for Danny Island. You'd sense that we'd be very close to full time this afternoon at Darling Street. 6th win in a row, as Blake just said, for Hamilton, if they get the job done this afternoon, which they will.
It's been a bit like last week, hasn't it? I wasn't there, but I did hear you say that it was a day out at Western with Western versus Edgeworth, and that's what it's been here as well. 2 goals in each game, so 6 goals across the 3 fixtures is a pretty slow day, isn't it? Especially for Olympic versus Magic.
Well, we were saying a few weeks ago, I think you said that the NPL this year has had a lot more goals than this time last year, but of recent weeks the defence has tightened up for a lot of teams. Here's a ball through, but just as we say that, Matt Swan's away. He's got Nathan Archbold. It's going to be well, it's a great challenge in the end. It hasn't been given as a free kick. Nathan Archbold taking down Matt Swan. The referee blowing full time. A little bit of late drama at Darling Street. But it's Hamilton Olympic who get the win over Broadmeadow Magic by 2-0. Those scores in the other games, the 19s and 22s, were both 1-1. And in first grade, Olympic did the job on Broadmeadow, a 2-0 victory. And Blake, just quickly, did you think that was a penalty at the end from Archbold on Swan?
He got the ball. You could see it deflect out to the left, or right on the screen, left in his position. I definitely think he got it.
So good call from the referee at the end there. So Hamilton 2. What was your wrap on the game today, Blake?
Yeah, it wasn't what we expected, wasn't it? It wasn't the flashiest game, but Hamilton won't care. They've got the 2 points. They've got their 3rd clean sheet of the season, and I think it's their 23rd goal. It is their 23rd goal, and they still remain on only 10 conceded. 6 wins in a row for them, which is very. Yeah, they took their chances, didn't they? Both of their goals were pretty scrappy, but they were goals nonetheless. So, good day out for Hamilton.
Yeah, 2-0 win for Olympic. As we said, Hamilton 2, Broadmeadow 0 this afternoon at Darling Street. It has been wonderful to have your company this afternoon, and we look forward to catching you around next weekend. Those FFA Cup matches on Saturday, so potentially we could be getting a clash on Sunday. But as I said, stick around. Check out on our Facebook page and on Twitter. So thanks for joining us this afternoon. It was Hamilton 2, Broadmeadow Magic 0.
This is for those that leap into battle in the blink of an eye. For the drivers that compete for their club, no matter where they are. For everyone who has triumphs, tips and tricks to share.
And for those who love to play with complete freedom, this is for the game changers, the innovators. This is for the players.